some things to consider before you start a creative small business that may not be on your radar. Hi, I'm Sarah. I am the founder of Intuitive Edge Coaching and Intuitive Edge Creative LLC in Los Angeles, California. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been around for a while. If you're watching this, when it was recorded sometime in October, I have my The Craft t-shirt on. It says, "We are the weirdos, mister," on the back. So I hope you are getting ready for Halloween and excited for spooky season. I'm so glad you're here. So let's get into this idea of things to consider before you start a small business. If you see me look this way, it's just because I took some notes and I want to make sure that I cover my topics. So that's what's over here. A lot of times when I see videos or resources of people talking about things to consider before you start a business, they're all practical things. And you should definitely consider practical things like how many hours you want to work and how much money you want to make and how you're going to market to people, all of that stuff. You should definitely consider those things. But there are some other things that I think it's really important to consider that I do not see talked about enough. In my system, Elemental Entrepreneurship, I teach business through the elements: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. So a lot of people are told to consider earth things like your contracts and your legal structure and where you're going to do your business banking. Those things are important. And a lot of people are encouraged to consider fire things like how you're going to market to people and what social media platforms you're going to use. And those things are also important. The things I don't see talked about enough are the water things, the emotional side of starting a business that are very important for you to consider before you get started. So one thing I think is really important is, why do you want to do it? Why, right? So in Elemental Entrepreneurship, the why question is an air question. What's your vision? One of the worst reasons to start a business is to make money. And I know that that might seem counterintuitive, but I think that just starting a business to make money is a terrible plan because there will be times when you don't. And if your only purpose for being there is because you chose the industry, you chose the business that you got into because you thought you could make a lot of money doing it, and not because you have a personal attachment to the work itself, not because you're passionate about the process of the work itself, the customers that you're going to serve, the impact you're going to make in the world, the enjoyment you get from the doing, you're only attached to the outcome, that's going to be really hard, because the outcome of anything usually is the part we can't control. There will be times when your business is making money, and there will be times that your business is not doing the numbers you want it to do. And if your only reason for being there is financial, during those times that the numbers aren't numbering the way you want them to number, you're going to feel defeated and frustrated and like you just want to throw in the towel and you just want to quit. Go into business doing something you love doing. Go into business doing something that you feel like you would do for free. Go into business doing something that you're gonna love doing even when it's hard. That on the hardest days of your business, you're gonna be like, there's still nothing else I'd rather be doing than this, because that's what's going to give you the grit that it takes to get through those hard moments where you might not be seeing the financial gains and rewards that you want from business. Now, this isn't to say we shouldn't want to make money. Of course, we all want to make money. We have to have it. I would much prefer to have a system where we don't need money. That would be ideal. But in this current system where we have to make money, we want to make money. We want to make enough money to have a nice life and pay our bills and go on vacation and take care of our families and take care of our cars and our pets and have groceries in the fridge. All of that is good. We want to have enough money set aside for taxes. We want to pay our teams well. We do want money. But if it is the only reason you're going into business, what I have found with many, many entrepreneurs I've worked with over the years is they find themselves in this position where when the business isn't doing the numbers they want, they are ready to quit because they only went into this business to make money. So before you start, think about why you're starting this business in particular. And if your reason for starting is personal and emotional enough to sustain you during the inevitable hard times that we all face as entrepreneurs. So that's number one. Think about why you want to do it. The next thing to think about is, how do you handle uncertainty? Entrepreneurship is full of uncertainty. It is full of risk. If you are the type of person who doesn't enjoy taking risks and who feels very dysregulated by uncertainty, who gets really upset or stressed out or even triggered when things feel uncertain, especially financial things, this is not to say don't go into business, but be prepared for the fact that business might be really emotionally challenging for you sometimes, especially in the beginning phases before you've built up, say, a big client roster of regulars and you've hit some kind of financial stride. There is always a lot of uncertainty in business. So if you know about yourself that you do not generally deal well with uncertainty, especially financial uncertainty, starting to think before you even start about how you're going to take care of yourself and manage yourself and support yourself emotionally during times where things feel stressful and uncertain is very, very important. That might mean having a therapist on deck. My friend Des Davis, her business is called The Rich Witch Life. She talks about having an excellence management team. Who's going to be on your excellence management team? When times are tough and you feel stressed, do you have a coach in your corner? Do you have a therapist? Do you have a massage therapist? Do you have good friends? Do you have a good partner? What are you going to do to support yourself during times of uncertainty in your business? How are you going to manage it? That's a really good thing to make a plan for before you start. The next thing is, what will you do and how will you feel if you get negative feedback? This is a big one. And this, can also be called like fear of visibility. A lot of people come to me with fear of visibility issues. They are worried about showing up on social media. They're worried about publicizing their work. They're worried about video. They're worried about speaking. They're worried about people seeing their body or their face or their clothes or their makeup or their hair. They have a lot of insecurities and fears tangled up in just being visible as themselves and sharing their work, especially if their work is really personal and they care about it a lot. Like, what if I share this thing that I love, that I'm so proud of, that I feel so passionate about on the internet, and I just get trashed and people just rip me to shreds in the comments and say terrible, mean things to me? I want to say, first of all, that's a valid thing to be worried about. It happens. And I'm somebody who has a history of school bullying. And I used to have a lot of fear of visibility about sharing my work online. And I have definitely had people say terrible, mean things to me about the way I look and my body. And it's never fun. It is a challenging thing to deal with. And if you are planning to have a personal brand and you are planning to promote your work on the internet, you're going to be visible and people are going to see you and people are going to have a chance to comment things to you and to your business. And so a really important thing to consider is, how will you deal with it when that happens? Not if it happens, but when it happens. If we're just afraid of it and we're going into business just hoping it doesn't happen, you may be setting yourself up, and it also may cause you to go into avoidance and not want to share, not want to promote, not want to talk, not want to post things online, because you're just have some kind of looming fear that something bad is going to happen. But if you sit down and walk yourself through how you will take care of yourself if you get negative feedback on the internet, that will really help you feel like, if this happens, I will be okay. If this happens, I will be able to take care of myself through the experience. I will be able to support myself. I'll be able to deal with it, right? Am I going to respond to the negative comment? Am I going to delete it? Am I going to ask somebody else to delete it for me so that I don't have to look at it? How are you going to navigate it if you get negative feedback on the internet? It's also worth thinking about how you will navigate it if you get negative customer feedback. What if somebody's not satisfied with the service? What if somebody wants their money back? What if somebody wants to contest your policy and they try to initiate a chargeback? What if somebody leaves a negative review as a former customer? What will you do and how will you navigate that? As a dance teacher, I give very similar advice about stage fright, which is everything that you're afraid of will happen if you perform long enough. So as a performer, I've had my top fall off on stage. I've had the lights go out during a performance. I've had the fire alarm get pulled during a show and the whole audience had to go outside. I've broken a bone on stage. I've had a dancer kick over the DJ booth, like the whole thing, like literal record scratch, everything falls down. If you perform for long enough, everything that you're afraid of happening will happen. The DJ will play the wrong music, like it will happen. And we're not training as dancers to avoid something bad ever happening. We're training so that when something happens that we're not anticipating, we can gracefully pull it off on stage. Graceful performance under pressure is what we're training for. And I think the same thing applies to business. Everything that you're afraid might happen will happen if you're in business long enough. You will have negative comments on an Instagram post. You will have a customer get mad at you and want to charge back. Like, this stuff happens. It is a completely normal, unavoidable part of doing business. At some point, this happens to everyone, even great businesses with really loving owners and really gracious policies, and you're dealing with people, and people are a wild card. So this kind of stuff it happens. And rather than being afraid that it will happen and just crossing your fingers and hoping it doesn't, a much more grounding practice is actually to sit down and ask yourself, if this happens, how would I handle it? How do I want to handle it? And prepare yourself for being able to be graceful under the pressure of these types of situations. Another is, what will you do when you're not getting the type of responses you want? This is a very important thing to think about. For a lot of us in an early stage of business, you might be marketing and marketing and marketing and marketing and not getting any sales, not getting any bites, not getting any DMs, not getting any communication back. And you might feel really frustrated with how much you feel like you're putting out and how little you're getting back in terms of recognition, positive feedback, and money. That is very normal. And what can happen for some people in that situation is that they feel slighted, they feel upset, they feel hurt, they feel angry, and they feel ready to throw in the towel and ready to quit their business when they're not getting the responses that they want. Being able to hang in there, stay the course, get curious, do surveys, pivot, to remain in the game when you're not getting the positive feedback that you're hoping to get is a critical business skill, and something I think that not enough people plan for before they start. So a great question to ask yourself, to sit down and journal on, is, how will I handle it if I hit a point that I feel like I've been marketing for a long time now and I'm starting to feel like I'm expecting different results than I'm getting, and now I'm starting to get mad or defeated or frustrated? What will you do? How will you support yourself through that? So these are some important inner work, emotional questions that I think that if more business owners sat down and asked themselves how they would address these emotional challenges that arise for almost all business owners, they would be better off, especially in the first couple years of business. But also, maybe your first couple of years of business go like gangbusters and it's great, and then a few years in you start seeing different results and things that worked for you in the beginning aren't working, or you go viral and you get a bunch of negative comments. Like, you might be kind of far along into your business when you first encounter these things. But if you've taken the time to think about them and to prepare yourself for how you'd like to handle situations that you might find challenging, you will be in a better emotional position to open anything that, welcome anything that may come to you with open arms. I think that's how I wanted to say that. If those types of things are really challenging for you, if the emotional side of business is the scariest part for you, I highly recommend that you do one of two things. One is join the Elemental Entrepreneurship Coven and get access to the Elemental Entrepreneurship courses and just dive into water and start resourcing your body, your emotions, your nervous system, and start working through some of the emotional challenges that you might have that business will bring up. Business is a mirror for all of our stuff, all of our insecurities, they will come up in business. So whatever emotional support you might need to navigate that, I would love to help you with. If you're not as into doing group or coursework, I would always love to work with you one-on-one. So you're always welcome to book a coaching call with me or apply to work with me one-on-one, and we will leave the links for that in the show notes. If this was helpful for you, please leave a comment. Let me know which one of these things hit for you the most. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to build this channel, so your likes and shares and subscribes go a long way toward letting us know what type of content you like. If there's a topic you want me to cover, send me a message or let me know in a comment, and I'll see what I can do to cover it for you. Follow me on Instagram at Intuitive Edge Coaching. You know, let's just stay in touch. Okay, love you, bye.